Hi everyone, and wow, we just got the third quarterly update for Diablo 4 this year, August 2022 update here. You can find the link in the description, and I gotta say, I was extremely pleased with what I just read. So I just went through this, and I was usually more on the optimistic side myself anyway, so I'm actually not really surprised, but I am, definitely happy and relieved, I guess, about the news. And that is, there's zero pay to win, zero pay for power. So they made this extremely clear that there will be like various post-launch like in-game shop monetization features. So there is a lot of cosmetics you can buy. There's a seasonal pass that you can buy that gives you extra cosmetics at like a better value basically. But there's no way to buy anything that gives you an in-game advantage, like a character boost, like a power boost. None of the items you can buy is gonna be with any stats. So yeah, they made this like crystal clear here. So it is really looking amazing. And this is exactly what I thought it would be like. So I expected that Diablo 4 will essentially be a total copy of Path of Exile in this regard, minus the box price, I guess. So we still have to pay the game, whereas Path of Exile, people say, yeah, Path of Exile is free. But not really, because of stash tabs that are like mandatory to actually play Path of Exile, like, properly. So I guess that, yeah, the two games will be very comparable. So in this post, there's a deep dive into the season pass and what it entails. So this is going to be probably a bit like the seasonal journey, like in Diablo 3, where you reach certain steps in the progression, doing certain challenges, and then you get a reward for it. In Diablo 3, this is unfortunately like extremely underdeveloped, and it's usually way too easy and way too outdated. This can be done in like 3 hours from season start. So Diablo 3 has a terrible system with the season journey, and I expect that in Diablo 4 they're gonna go like several steps further to actually provide like real endgame challenges. It's actually something they said that's gonna be like pinnacle encounters. It's gonna be like some bosses maybe, or some difficult enemies you have to defeat at the end to actually complete the final steps. So all of that I think is absolutely necessary, and I'm very amazed to hear that. And not only this, but they're gonna also update the seasonal content with like fresh, new, like everything basically. So they said here, Diablo 4 will be supported by an army of developers for years to come, with a large development team dedicated to seasons after launch. So this sounds incredible. I think that we have seen, for example, in Diablo 3, that even with an extremely tiny, minuscule team, they managed to do quite exciting seasons no matter what. And a lot of people still play Diablo 3 to this day. I can definitely see that, just based on my numbers on Twitch, on YouTube. Like it has been really skyrocketing actually in the last seasons, to my surprise. But I'm not complaining. And if you just imagine something like this, but like 10 times larger or 20 times larger or whatever, yeah, I can only imagine like how crazy those seasons are gonna be with like new builds, legendaries, quests. So they said something here like, we think it is important that players will see that the game is changing in meaningful ways. Each season will be released with a fresh new gameplay feature and quest line that introduces new challenges, mysteries, and possibilities into the level up experience. This is something players should begin to experience before the end of their first hour of play. So that sounds really cool, and this also sounds very familiar actually. Again, drawing the comparison to PoE. PoE usually has like new league mechanics that like pop up like everywhere in every single zone. So from start to finish, you have like some new stuff basically. And I think it's going to be somewhere along those lines that, depending on what exactly they're going to do with those seasonal updates, I guess it's going to be like, several different types of, sometimes it's going to be like new enemies introduced, like some invading demons, for example. And other times it's going to be like maybe some new items you can find. And other times there's going to be like, some crafting stuff or who knows what, right? So theoretically, the possibilities are endless. But yeah, we can definitely expect huge seasonal updates. And they said that for years to come. And I guess that if the game is going well, which is expected, I guess, And with enough funds flowing back into the company through the seasonal like battle passes that people buy and the cosmetics in the shop, I can only see this actually working out really well. So personally, I'm already really pumped for the release of Diablo 4. I've been working towards this basically for many years now. And well, this is gonna be like, it's gonna be the thing for me, I guess. And with this confirmation, no pay to win, I think that they're definitely heading in the right direction. So especially after Diablo Immortal, there was a lot of concern, a lot of talk about Diablo 4 is going to be exactly the same, yada yada. So I always said that will obviously not happen, because with pay to win, Diablo 4 is like dead on arrival. Well, not really. There will be a lot of people still playing and buying the game and stuff, but it would definitely further reduce the faith that especially the long-term fans have in Blizzard, in the company. And it would also just completely destroy any kind of competitive scene that the game might have developed. And without any pay to win, there is actually like room for that. And with them saying that there will be like these difficult endgame challenges, I mean, who knows how difficult it will really be. But if there is like room for competition, for like difficult to beat endgame content, and speed runs, races, even like these kind of private leagues that Path of Exile has, where or like these gauntlets, for example, where there's like a mini season in a season basically, where people can compete, for example. So I believe all these stuff are like avenues that Blizzard can and probably will pursue eventually as well, where we're gonna see some very exciting stuff, especially on the higher end of things. But if you also look at the cosmetics here, I think that all of this stuff looks pretty amazing. So they have like a comparison here of like in-game, like earnable items from like drops versus like shop cosmetics. So left side is in-game, right side is like shop. And it seems like the shop has like mostly like very like thematic, like, kind of like new types of cosmetics, I guess, that are like built towards certain classes and certain fantasies. So especially here, I guess this comes across really well on the right. So I have like this kind of like hunter, bow, rogue fantasy here, versus like, kind of like more generic items here on the left. But honestly, like I could do with either of them. Like for me, like it's not like I don't want to support the company or something. And obviously, Diablo 4 is going to be like a game that we'll play for many thousands of hours, basically. And spending some money here and there won't really be a big deal in the long run for someone like me. It's just like I like earning my cosmetics, so there will be probably plenty of opportunities to do that, and I don't really want to buy them unless there's something really cool that I really want. And that's just like my own personal thing. And we know, for example, that there will also be like very difficult to get endgame cosmetics, for example, PvP cosmetics. So this is something that I intend to go for. I expect some of them will look like really badass and will be really rough to get, at least like, early on. I expect this to be some kind of like, gladiator level, like in WoW or so, where you really have to destroy everyone else to actually get the stuff, at least for some of those cosmetics. So this is more the kind of stuff that I'm going for. And this is also pretty much it for this update. If you want to read the full blog post, I can recommend you to go through it, read the details, and kind of understand what they're doing. And just tell me your thoughts. Tell me if you have any concerns, and let's see what Blizzard will do. But I think in general they're really on the right path here, and it's basically going as expected. So for me, this is basically all expected, and we have confirmation now of no pay to win. I'm very happy. So let's see when the open beta finally starts and we can all experience the game together. I'm already really looking forward to that. I really want to play Rogue, especially. And then obviously like eventually the release in I guess sometime early summer, late spring or something. So it's basically just around the corner, like another 2 seasons of blasting in D3 or so, and this is it. From the sound of it, from what they said here in this update, that they have, these ambitious plans, they have an army of developers, they're gonna have insane seasonal updates for years to come, 4 seasons a year. Like all of that is really exactly what I believe Diablo 4 will need to, be like long-term successful, to beat other ARPGs that are on the market, that have like kind of like, taken the pinnacle spot for the ARPG market. And if Diablo 4 wants to take that spot, then yeah, they are most likely on the right track here. So now just the game needs to be good, I guess. And honestly, I'm also not really too concerned about that. So from what I have seen from various like clips and like the other seasonal updates, and for example, the Paragon board as like an end game system, it all looks way more exciting than all the things that we know from Diablo 2, from Diablo 3. And they're going way more in like a PoE direction there as well, with character building, with like, you know, making a certain like build fantasy work with your character, and then, you know, you play it for a while, you finish it, and you go to the next character, and there's not like this infinite progression that we know from Diablo 3, for example. So all of that looks like way more interesting than other games, and especially considering that this is just a launch content that we have seen so far, and we might have not even seen everything. So there's probably like more systems even, or, you know, more endgame content, whatever. We don't really know much. And I believe that as long as Diablo 4 launches with, let's say, a decent amount of content, you know, somewhere along the lines of like 20% of what like a long-term, like a decade-old Path of Exile has to offer, for example, I think they're already on track. And then, you know, these games develop over time. They get these seasonal updates, and they're gonna add more content. There's gonna be an expansion. They're gonna add more seasons. There's gonna be another expansion maybe. So this is how I expect this to go. And eventually it's gonna be like, you know, massive, of, you know, an insane big game. It's gonna be probably more classes at some point. You know, you can only imagine like how much stuff there's gonna be in like 3, 4, 5 years from now. So those are my thoughts on the update. I'm gonna leave you with this here. Let me know what yours are. And yeah, let's see what happens when more news come around. So I will be covering more D3 stuff, of course, because the season is coming. I'm going to be blasting the season, and whenever there's something to show, I'll talk about it here. Subscribe for more Diablo content. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.